Hey everyone, it's Shayla Boyd-Gill, your family freedom and affluence mentor. I was outside the other day, and one of the ways that I kind of debrief, I come down if I'm feeling stressed or if I feel like I just need to get away from something that I'm doing, I go outside. And while I was out there, I just started thinking all of the things that make up what surrounds us, what we know as the elements. I was looking at it and saying, you know what? I know people say that this is how we show up in our lives. Sometimes people say different signs represent different elements. But I was like, what if our businesses were a representation of the elements around us? And then I really put it into perspective. And so after doing that, I decided I was going to come on here. We're going to have a really random conversation, which I'm going to turn into a business lesson for you. And I hope that you enjoy it. If you're a family-centered woman entrepreneur and you know other women that may enjoy this conversation, make sure you share it with them. And if you're absolutely here for the replay, do me a favor and just say replay in the comment section so I can acknowledge you later on. So let's go ahead and get started. As you know, most people think of four elements when it comes to nature. You're thinking of air, water, fire, and earth. And so I'm going to go down the line and just give you some of my thoughts around it and see how we can relate it to our businesses. And then ask you, how do you feel that your business is showing up when it comes to the element? Which element do you feel that your business best represents? Here's what I'm probably going to say is the truth for the majority. You're probably a combination of a lot of the elements, not just one, but there's one that's probably stronger than others. Okay. So here we go. The first one I was thinking of is earth because I consider myself to be pretty earthly, someone that's grounded. And so when I think of businesses, I think of a business that's probably been long-standing. It's been grounded. You're probably kind of stubborn in the way that you do things in the business. And here's the truth. The business is a reflection of you. So even though I'm saying the business, I'm really talking about you. So hear yourself in this. But as an earth base, like an earth element, grounded, really stubborn, used to doing things one way maybe. And so in that case, you may have a system in the business that's been working a long time. You may have something that's been bringing in the money. It's had consistency, but maybe you've not changed anything. You see things around you growing and maybe things are shifting a little bit. So an example of that is if you've been able to grow your business a certain way with one type of marketing, but you notice that marketing around the business that's happening in the industry is shifting, but you're not shifting with it, or you're not growing and being innovative with it, then it may just be a really grounded business that was good at that time. A perfect example of that would be your Blockbusters. So everyone remembers Blockbusters. They were the cool thing. You can go, you can rent your videos, and everyone was happy. They were like, this is the best thing since Kool-Aid, right? And then we started getting mail order subscriptions, or where you could rent through the mail. Blockbusters decided to sit back and say, I don't know that we want to do that. And then, of course, we were able to stream. Something that happened with this really well-grounded business model of Blockbusters is they were not willing to be as innovative as the things that were happening around them. Therefore, the business didn't last. And that's because they were too stubborn to move when it was time to move. And when they did decide to move, it was too late. So if you feel like your business is the grounded earth element, make sure you're cautious of the times when you need to shift. And if you know the conversations I have about pivoting, make sure you're mindful of when it's time to pivot and you're not too grounded in what you do that you're not willing to shift before it's too late. So let's talk about another one. Let's think about air. When I think of air, I think of things, people soaring above the rest. Maybe you have that flow where you kind of soar. And of course, my phone is ringing, right? But maybe in your business, you've been able to soar, you've been able to move fast, and then maybe it slowed down, So you kind of go and you slow down, you go and you slow down. And it can feel frustrating because in the moment you're like, this is the best. It's exciting. I'm doing really good in business. But then the slowdown portion happens. Can you withstand the slowdown long enough to be able to rev it back up again? So like air, are you able to flow with things? You probably move fast, you soar, but you might be a little risky in the process. You have to make sure you're mindful of the risk that you take. Do they make sense in that moment? Can you afford the risk that you're taking? Or can you afford not to take the risk? It's something to consider, but the element of air, does your business kind of flow with it? Are you like the next level thinker? Do you soar above the rest? And are you able to withstand that? Or do you have these moments and then you lose that momentum? That's one when I think of air. When you're thinking of something, for example, like the element of fire, are you like the fire starter in the business? You are truly passionate about everything that you do. And you're also known to tear things apart. You could be so passionate and just reckless. Maybe people can't work with you. Maybe people feel you're difficult to work with. Maybe they feel the business is a little strange. And so you have to be mindful. If the element that you kind of represent in the business is fire, you can be a fire starter. You can be passionate about what you do, but you want to make sure you have people working with you that can actually implement and do everything that's needed and keep the team intact. You don't want to be a fire starter and run everyone away. So make sure that if you're going to be the fire starter, you have other things to balance it off so that you can restore things in the path of your personal destruction. And if you know that that's your model, if you tend to be the firecracker of things, you want to make sure that you step back and pause before you speak, before you make decisions. And as the business, you want to make sure it doesn't get represented as that business that's always in the midst of the storm. You want to be sure that if you think of things like, are you so focused on what other businesses are doing, even though you may be passionate? Are you so focused on what other businesses are doing that now there's jealousy? You're focusing on how they're winning. Therefore, your wins start getting smaller because you're focusing that energy, that passion in the wrong place. You're focusing on what someone did to you or what client did what to you in your business. You can be a fire starter. It's okay to be the element of fire in business, but you have to manage the fire. We need some fire. Everyone can't be earth. Okay, you need some fire, but make sure that it's managed properly. And the last element to really think of is water. So the element of water, that's flow. You kind of change with the current. You kind of go with, this is innovative, this new marketing is working this way, but you want to make sure the downfall of it is that you don't get wishy-washy in things. You don't find yourself seeing every shiny object in the business, and you don't cause confusion to the consumers, to the people that may be following you. You don't want to be so wishy-washy as water that people are like, we don't know what the business represents, because every time we look, the business is doing something different. So with all the elements, we have to have consistencies. We have our strengths, if that element is represented, but there's also a weakness that may come there. And this is what we do as business owners too. People can see our strengths and our weaknesses. And sometimes that's reflected in the business, and that can give a person a certain perception of what your business is like. And it may deter them. Maybe you want it as a deterrent. Maybe you want those people that aren't in alignment with the way that you do business to go away. But maybe you're deterring some people that really would be a good fit for your business because you're not managing the way that you're showing up and the way that your business is represented. So I wanted to have this quick random conversation with you so that you could be mindful of that and you can have an awareness. How am I showing up in the business? How is my business perceived? No, you may not see yourself as an element, but just for the sake of conversation today, I hope this brought some insight to you to help you to understand how people may see the business or how you see yourself in the business. And is it the view that you want people to have? Is this the way that you want to be seen? This is some of the things that we talk about with my clients in our different programs. As you're building, as they're restructuring, women come to me, they have a business that's been a certain way, and we look at how's that business perceived. Do people see this business as something that's valuable? Do they see it as a high ticket? Is it viewed as the low ticket that everyone can have access to? Those are things that we discuss as we're talking about restructuring businesses, bringing more freedom, more happiness and more joy to your business. So if you are a family-centered woman entrepreneur and you know through this conversation we've had today that this might be a way that you're representing your business, but maybe you want to shift some things, I invite you to schedule time to chat with me. And I'm going to put it up here, coachwithshayla.com. I invite you to chat with me about our upcoming class of our Freedom Income Accelerator program. Not only are we talking about how to increase your revenue in your business, but also how to restructure things so that you find more time to be able to do the things you actually love, have more joy, have more happiness, and actually love what you've created versus having something that's turned into a monster, okay? I also look at this as a way of helping you to manage the way that you're showing up in the business and present yourself and your business the way that you desire people to perceive it. So make sure if this is you, you have an existing business and you're ready to flip things a little bit, pivot, change things up, increase your revenue, have more joy, more happiness, please do me a favor and apply at coachwithshayla.com. See, I almost missed something, at coachwithshayla.com. And I look forward to chatting to you later. Bye-bye.